For 6 whole days, the universe is just this incredible whirlwind of becoming, of creation in motion. But then, on the 7th day, everything changes. A kind of divine stillness comes down, and what's amazing is that it doesn't happen as one single event. It descends as 2 distinct, brilliant layers of sacred time. Today, we're going to unlock the ancient secret of these 2 Shabbats, a cosmic system that was designed to bring perfect, unbelievable harmony between heaven and earth.
Okay, let's just dive right into the heart of this. The Torah, as we know, is a document of almost unbelievable precision. I mean, every single letter, every word, it's there for a very specific reason. So when we read this verse from Leviticus, one word should just leap off the page: Shabbats. Plural. Not my Shabbat, singular, but my Shabbats. Now, this is not some grammatical slip-up. The ancient mystics, the masters of the Zohar, they saw this as a key, a deliberate, flashing clue that unlocks one of the deepest secrets of reality. That Shabbat isn't just a day off, it's a dual-layered cosmic system. There isn't just one Shabbat, there are 2.
So here's our roadmap for this journey. We're going to start with that plural mystery and then unpack what we're calling the twin protocols: remember and guard. From there, we'll look at Shabbat as a kind of cosmic system sync, explore our role as the human interface, which is incredible, and then look at some simplified ways to grasp this. And finally, we'll see how it all comes together in the great unification.
So, what are these 2 Shabbats? The Kabbalists explain that reality, it operates on multiple levels, right? There's the root of any concept, its pure, unmanifested potential. And then there's its expression down here, in our world. And Shabbat is no different. You have an upper Shabbat, which you can think of as the source code of divine rest, and then you have a lower Shabbat, which is the actual experience of that rest in our lives. They are 2 sides of the same coin, and the entire goal, the whole point, is to make them one.
And this just lays it out so perfectly. On the left, you've got the upper Shabbat. This exists in a realm the Kabbalists call Binah, which means understanding. It's the ultimate source, the blueprint for tranquility itself. It's pure, unmanifested potential. And on the right, we have the lower Shabbat. This one corresponds to Malchut, or kingdom. This is our reality, the realm where the divine presence, the Shekinah, actually dwells. This is the Shabbat we can touch, taste, and feel. It's the user interface for holiness.
All right, so if we have these 2 dimensions, the root up there and the branch down here, how in the world do we connect them? How do we build a bridge between that pure potential and our lived experience? Well, the Torah gives us 2 very distinct commands, 2 protocols that act like a divine handshake between these realms: Zachor, to remember, and Shamor, to guard. And the history behind these 2 commands is absolutely fascinating. In the book of Exodus, when the 10 Commandments are first given, the verse says, Zachor, remember the Sabbath day. Simple enough. But later in Deuteronomy, when the commandments are repeated, the verse says, Shamor, guard the Sabbath day. So which isn't? Well, the Talmud teaches this totally mind-bending concept. At Mount Sinai, the people didn't hear these as 2 separate words. No way. They heard Zachor and Shamor at the exact same time as a single, indivisible, completely supernatural utterance. This was never a choice between 2 versions. It was the revelation of a unified, dual protocol system right from the very beginning. Let's break down that first protocol. Zachor, to remember. Mystically, this represents the active, the projective, the masculine energy of this whole system. It is, for all intents and purposes, the to-do list of Shabbat. I mean, think about all the positive commands: lighting the candles, making the day holy over wine with Kiddush, enjoying beautiful meals, wearing special clothes. All of these are acts of remembering, of actively drawing the consciousness and the absolute joy of Shabbat into our world. This energy corresponds to the daytime of Shabbat and is, at its core, an expression of ahava, or love. It's an outflowing, giving, and expansive force.
And to balance that incredible outflow, we have the second protocol, Shamor, to guard. This represents the receptive, the containing, the feminine energy. Now, this isn't about what we do, it's all about what we don't do. It's the don't-do list, the 39 categories of creative work, the Malchut, that we just stop for 25 hours. By doing this, we're not being passive. We are actively creating a boundary, a sacred space, a vessel. This energy is linked to the nighttime of Shabbat, the beginning of the holy day, and it is fundamentally an act of yira. Now, that's often translated as fear, but it really means something closer to awe or reverence. It's that profound respect that creates a clean, protected environment where holiness can finally come to rest.
This table just brings it all together beautifully. Look at this. You have Zachor, it's masculine, active, the to-do part of Shabbat day, and it flows from ahava, love. Its entire function is to fill the vessel with divine light. It's connected to the Sephra of Tiferet, beauty, often called the divine groom. Then you have Shamor. It's feminine, receptive, the refraining of Shabbat night, and it's born from yira, awe. Its function is to create the vessel in the first place. It's connected to Malchut, the divine bride. So, here's the crucial takeaway. They are completely incomplete without each other. Love without awe is just a chaotic, directionless flood, and awe without love is an empty, sterile vessel. But together, together they create a perfect, sacred union, a vessel capable of holding the infinite.
Okay, now let's go deeper. Let's reframe all of this from the perspective of Sud, the secret, the mystical layer of understanding. If we start thinking of reality as a kind of divine operating system, then Shabbat isn't just a day of rest. It's a weekly system synchronization protocol. It's the time the entire cosmos literally recalibrates and restores itself to its original source code. All right, to really get this, let's use a modern analogy. Think of the upper Shabbat, that realm of Binah, as the main, stable, totally incorruptible root server. It holds the perfect, original software for reality. Now think of our world, the lower Shabbat, or Malchut, as the user environment, your laptop, your phone. During the 6 days of the week, our environment, it gets fragmented. It fills up with pop-ups, conflicting programs, all kinds of digital noise from our actions and just the natural entropy of the world. It gets out of sync with the root server. And this is exactly how that synchronization process works, step by step. So, step 1, the weekday. Like Ari said, our user environment, our reality, Malchut, it gets fragmented. Then, as Shabbat comes in, we initiate step 2, guarding, Shamor. By stopping the 39 categories of creative work, we are essentially closing all the distracting applications. We're quieting the system down, creating a clean, receptive state, that vessel of profound awe. And once that vessel is ready, we move to step 3, remembering, Zachor. Through all the positive acts of Shabbat, Kiddush, the meals, the joy, we literally click synchronize. We initiate this massive data transfer of divine energy and consciousness from the root server, Binah, all the way down into our world. And that brings us to the final step, step 4, unification. The user environment perfectly mirrors the root server. The fragmentation is healed, the system is debugged, and for 25 glorious hours, the two Shabbats become perfectly, harmoniously one.
Okay, this all sounds incredibly grand, cosmic, but it leads to a really important question. How can our little actions, lighting 2 candles, not flipping a light switch, saying a blessing over some wine, how can these seemingly small things possibly trigger such a massive, profound, cosmic realignment? I mean, are we really that powerful?
And the answer, according to the mystics, is a resounding, emphatic yes. This slide right here, it reveals the most empowering secret of this entire system. The whole cosmic synchronization process is not automatic. The cosmos literally waits for us. Our actions are the trigger. When we guard with Shamor, we're creating a kind of sacred vacuum, a protected space where forces of chaos, what Kabbalists call klipot, or shells, they just have nothing to grab onto. Then, when we remember, with Zachor, with all that joy and love, we become the active force that pulls the higher reality, that divine consciousness, down into the space we just cleared. We, in our physical bodies, in our own homes, become the conduits for this grand reunion of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And that is the secret of what it means to make Shabbat. We aren't just observing it, we are facilitating a sacred, cosmic wedding every single week.
And there's a tangible effect of this unification that happens right inside of us. The Kabbalists teach that on Shabbat, every single one of us receives what's called a nefesh yetera, an additional soul. Now, this isn't just a nice metaphor for feeling relaxed. It's described as a literal extra measure of soul consciousness that descends from the highest spiritual worlds as a direct result of this unification that we help to create. It's a spiritual power-up, a genuine expansion of our consciousness that lets us perceive and feel and experience a level of reality that is just totally inaccessible during the week. This is the gift we get for being the interface, for being the ones who bridge the worlds.
Okay, so these concepts are unbelievably deep, right? The mystics, they knew this, and so they provided all these different analogies to help people at every level of understanding really connect with these ideas. So let's look at 2 simplified models that capture the essence of this cosmic piece. First up, for the kid in all of us, we've got the video game analogy. Just imagine, for 6 days, you're playing the super fast-paced, really chaotic level of a video game.
I mean, enemies are popping up everywhere, things are breaking, it's pretty stressful. But on the 7th day, a portal to a secret level opens up. By hitting the stop key, that's our Shamor, guarding, you freeze all the chaos around you. Then, by hitting the celebrate key, that's our Zachor, remembering, you activate the portal and you get synced up with the peaceful palace level where everything is calm, restored, and just beautiful. And as a bonus for getting there, you get a temporary soul power-up, your Nefesh Yatira.
And for those of us who prefer a more technical model, we can go right back to our cosmic engineering analogy. Reality runs on a dual-layer operating system. During the 6 weekdays, the user-level system, OS lower, Malchut, it just gets fragmented and buggy. So Shabbat is the weekly system restore. The Shamor command, refraining from work, puts the entire system into safe mode. Only the most essential processes are running. Then the Zachor command, with all the active mitzvot, executes the restore from source function, pulling a clean, perfect image from OS upper, Binah. This whole process debugs, defragments, and completely refreshes reality for the week to come.
So let's bring it all home. The traditional way of understanding Torah is called Pardes, with its 4 levels of meaning. We've just taken a journey deep, deep into that final level, Sod, the secret dimension of Shabbat. And what we've seen is that it's not just a day, it's a dual-layered system, and that, incredibly, we hold the keys to its alignment. And this, really, is the most profound takeaway of all. Your actions are the bridge between worlds. Every single candle you light, every moment you decide not to check your phone, every joyful song you sing at the Shabbat table, these are not just quaint traditions. They are acts of cosmic engineering. They are the keystrokes that initiate the synchronization. Your observance is not passive. It is an active, powerful act of cosmic construction, rebuilding the bridge between heaven and earth, week after week after week.
So the final thought, the thing we have to leave with, is this. We have to completely reframe our understanding of this day. Shabbat is not an escape from reality. It is not about running away from the pressures and stresses of the week. It is a weekly, active, and absolutely essential restoration of reality itself, bringing it back into perfect alignment with its divine source code. It is, without a doubt, the most important work we do all week.
Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We really hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full deep dive, please like, subscribe, and maybe share in the comments which part of the journey touched your soul. We'll see you in the next chapter.